Hello, good afternoon. My name is Kevin Devecioğlu. I'm the Managing Director of Bimser International. Thank you for joining today's webinar session. Today, we'll be talking about how to manage PPE, personal protective equipment, in a digital environment with QDMS and Acumatica ERP system. I am connecting from talking about this. Let me prepare my screen to share details with you, and we'll get started. Okay, great. So before we jump to the subject matters and before I introduce my team members, I'd like to invite you to our YouTube channel. As some of you are already connected on YouTube Live and watching us live in this manner, you are more than welcome to visit our YouTube channel and connect to our playlist, and as well as our previous webinar sessions that you can watch, you can review, and you can share with your contacts. Also, I'd like to invite you to our Eventbrite page, where you can see our coming executive webinar session. You can view our executive webinar lineup, and you can register accordingly. Let me introduce you my colleagues. I have Sam Watts with me. He's our pre-sales software engineer from our engineering team. And I have Furkan Bas with us. He's our product team from our QDMS and Ensemble product management team. So together we'll be talking about PPE management digitally and how you can actually adopt digital transformation while you are managing your PPE programs, as well as health and safety of your employees. So let's get started. Today we made some changes in our lineup. Normally we start with our company presentation and we talk about QDMS, our quality, audit, and compliance management software. However, today what we'll do is we'll just jump into our QDMS demo environment for you. We'll show you how we can help you manage your PPE programs, how we can help you manage your personal protective equipment at your company digitally. And we'll also talk about risk management as well as reports and dashboard, as you see the agenda on the screen. We'll talk more about QDMS today, but some notes as to QDMS. QDMS is our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management software. So Bimser International has been developing this solution since 1998. That's a very solid software product at enterprise level. It's also good for mid-market. It's very scalable. It has multi-location, multi-currency, and multi-language capability. And access the system as Cloudfriendly software. Right now, as for QDMS, we have more than that. These are the numbers that we are proud of, and we are having more and more new customers. Many different quality management systems. ISO 9001 is one of them, as you see on the screen as I'm sharing. You can comply with ISO 14000. AS 9100 if you're in aerospace, defense, and aviation industry, IATF 16949 if you're in automotive industry. You can comply with food manufacturing practices. You can comply with also SQF and DRC as you see on the screen, and many other standards that you can comply with. There are many different quality management systems in North America as well as in the world. Also, there are many different regulations in the world as well as in North America as the area. So QDMS is more than enough to help you comply with these standards. Before further ado, I'd like to introduce my team member, my colleague, Sam Watts. He's with us today, and Sam will perform show and tell. Instead of talking about it, let's show you how QDMS looks, how it can help you digitally, and let's get rid of paper. Let's have a paperless office. And nowadays, especially, we are facing COVID-19 crisis, right? So that's a common problem and challenge for everybody. So With the help of QDMS, you can connect remotely to your quality management related documents, your management operations you can manage. And also, it is important to keep in mind that you can also manage your PPE operations digitally. Before further ado, I'd like to let Sam take over the screen, and we'll see how QDMS looks, feels, and ready to help you in this digital environment. Let me stop sharing, and I'll let Sam take over the
screen. Okay. Thank you, Kevin. And can you see my screen?
Thank you, Sam. I see it clearly, nice and clear. The floor is yours.
Great. Okay. So thank you for joining today's webinar, and this is Sam from Bimser International. So today I will show you our quality risk audit and compliance management system, which is QDMS. This is the home screen of QDMS, and after you log in, you can find all the pending tasks and also the request for approval. So you can get a quick connection. For example, there is a document that is waiting for my approval, so that I can open the widget here on my home screen and get a quick connection to this request. QDMS is a permission-based system, which means not everyone can see everything. For example, the notification, and also the main menu of QDMS. You will see what you're supposed to do based upon your role, your position, profession, department, or group. So different users or user groups will have different permissions. Since now I'm logging in as the administrator, so that I have the full control of the system. And coming to the main menu. So QDMS has a modular structure, which means you can pick and choose the modules that you want to have and deploy them on your servers. It can be an on-premise server or cloud server. And in this module, you can see personal protective equipment module, as known as PPE. By using this module, you can manage your PPE, like assigning the PPE, the equipment to the employee, Acumatica, and we can select one of the employee, and then start assigning the PPE to these users. In this list, you will see you can record different PPE like your helmet, glove, glasses, face mask, and so on right here. And we can pick and choose the one that you want to that we want this worker to have, like the helmet and the mask, and then we can click save, and those will be assigned to this worker. And you can also define the date that this PPE will be utilized. So for example, this is for this Friday, and also you can enter the quantity of the PPE of each one, like one for each, and then we can enter the reason for why we need this PPE for this worker. So you can see different reasons here, and this list, you can always update it based upon the actual operations of your company. And in this demo environment, you will see we can pick and choose, like it is for construction, for cleaning, or maintenance. So right here, we can enter more supportive information in this open text box as well. So let's say description, then we can save this, and all this equipment will be assigned to this worker, and this worker will receive, or this employee will receive a notification in QDMS and also in the email inbox. And coming back to the PPE module, right here, you can see the reporting tool, which is available for every module. There's a reporting tool for every module in QDMS, which allows you to have a report and have an overview of all the data that we saved in this particular module. So now I'm taking the one is the utilization report, which means you can see what kind of PPE is distributed to the users, and who is the one who created this or who assigned this PPE to the users, like the giver, and also the date, and also the reason for the PPE. So it's helped you to keep tracking if the PPE is on the employee hands or it has been returned. Since the PPE is also cost for your company if they lost it or they just keep it by themselves. So that if they return, we can come back always to the PPE list. And then you can open this up and manage, for example, they return the PPE so that we can manage it. Let's say this three, they have returned, then we can delete this record. But still, those history of the utilization will be saved in an archive of QDMS in this module. So next, I want to show you is the risk assessment module. In this module, you can manage your risk in different aspects. For example, like environment, IT, like information security that you can see here, material safety or FMEA, for example, or food and safety. So they have a similar approach which you can create risk assessment planning. And in QDMS, all the planning is like the goal that you want to achieve. So for example, like a health and safety risk assessment planning. So this is the goal that you want to have, like assessing the risk regarding in terms of health and safety. And after that, we can create the items. It's like the objectives, which help you to achieve your goal. So right here in this planning, I have different items in order to have the risk assessment for different departments, like production, shipping, or packaging department. And in this list, you can see the color or the light on your left. So when they're in green, which means this risk is not likely to happen in this department, and also it is not, the impact is not critical. If it is in yellow color, which means you have to pay attention on, it is likely to happen in your in this department or in this item, and also the impact will be it will impact in certain level to your department or your operations. If they're in red, which means it's highly likely happened in your company or in this department, and also the impact is critical. So while you're managing this item, you can create a new one, or I'm going to pull one of the existing record. So right here, you can pick and choose the business area and also and what it will be the result for this risk. Like injury or employee injury, and to business area down list or the selectable items in a list, those can be updated based upon the need of your company. And now QDMS is bringing us the list on the screen. So right here, for example, the area like for financial or for customer relationship or internal processes. And you can pick and choose the impact, like how it will affect the operations of your company based upon this risk. Like you can choose if it is minor, moderate, significant, and so on. And also how likely it will happen in your company or for this department. So if I change it to very low, and you will see the risk score will be calculated automatically, and you can have an overall risk index, like it is now is low. So low means the light will be green, show as green in the list, which I've just showed you before. And also regarding this risk, you can define some precaution action, like you can define a particular document, like your policy or standard or procedures in terms of deal with this risk. Also, you can pick and choose a corrective action as known as CAPA. So we have a built-in integration between different modules in QDMS. This is one of the example is the risk assessment module and the corrective action module. You can select an existing record from the corrective action module, and you will see a list of the corrective action that we have defined in that module. Or you can create a new record, and you will be led to the corrective action page, which allows you to create a new corrective action, like entering the corrective action source, non-conformity, and schedule it or assign this to the solution team. So this is how we can keep managing your risk, and all your risk will be in different version, because it is an ongoing process. We have to keep having our risk assessment in terms of finding how likely it will happen to our company and what is the impact to our company or company operations. As I mentioned, there is a reporting tool in every module, and in this risk assessment module, you can create your report like your general risk list, or action report like the precaution action that we have defined in different risk assessment item. Also, you can carry out the graphical report. So what you will see on the screen is on your left, you can see what you want to see on your report. You can put your condition before you're generating your graphical report. So for example, we want to see in different business area or the source of risk. And then we can pick and choose as the y-axis, and you will see right here, all your data will be shown in a pie chart and also in a table. And of course, you can change the graphic type like to bar chart or pie chart. And you're more than welcome to export your report into Excel, PDF, or image for sharing with any responsible parties. At last, in QDMS, you can find a dashboard regarding all the modules. So for example, I have a risk assessment module, and then we can click and generate a dashboard. So the dashboard is a visualization tool that helps you to put together all your real-time data and visualize them so that you can have an overview and keep tracking the performance and also the KPI of your company. So those data, those real-time data, I would say, can come from different sources like Acumatica, any ERP system, or from QDMS, or from an Excel sheet. So your data will be shown in a bar chart or in a scorecard, so that you can see and have an overview how the risk, for example, it is doing in this particular fields, and also we can see how many software risk and how many what is the impact or the level of those risks that we have defined, and also the trend of the risk assessment that we have done in QDMS. It's come to the end of my demonstration. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you.
Sam, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Can you hear me well, by the way, just to make sure?
Yeah, I can. Nice and clear.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Sam. Please stop sharing so I can take over the screen. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for the insights and of course, thank you for the demonstration and show and tell. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Great. Let's continue our schedule as to how to manage PPE digitally. As you see, in digital environment, you can manage your PPE programs, personal protective equipment programs. You can schedule them digitally, and the system basically reminds you all your coming steps. What is the last time you actually distributed your PPE? Who did you distribute it to? When is the next time you need to be distributing again? Getting reports accordingly. So these are important functions if you think about it in a digital environment. Because as a company, you are responsible. We are responsible to take care of our employees. And nowadays, especially we are facing COVID-19, PPE management is more important than ever. So QDMS will be very helpful in that sense as well. As Sam demonstrated earlier, you can also manage your risks. Depends on what quality management system you are compliant with. Risk management is very important. If you are compliant with ISO 9001, for example, risk management is mandatory. It used to be optional. Now it is mandatory with the ISO 9001 2015. So you can also manage your risk assessment in QDMS. And you can digitize it. You can update it when there is a need, and you can also generate reports as you see. So these are important insights that we want to share with you. Just for your information, we have our contact information on the screen. So if you'd like to have a conversation later on, if you'd like to have one-to-one sessions, feel free to send us an email and we can schedule time with you so that we can be deeper in this conversation as to how to manage PPE as well as quality management systems digitally with QDMS as well as Acumatica. For your information, QDMS is designed to run standalone as an independent software solution. We integrated with Acumatica ERP system, so that is working seamlessly. So you have both options, basically using QDMS as a standalone solution, or if you have Acumatica, you can also enjoy the benefits of QDMS since we already integrated QDMS with Acumatica. Okay, great, perfect. So I think it's my turn now. Now we can talk about who we are, what we do, and then we can also talk about how you can manage your PPE programs, how you can put them together, first of all, and then how to manage them. And we can talk about also digital transformation of quality management, how we look at it from the technological point of view, and how you can actually utilize technology in the face of COVID-19 when you are managing your PPE programs as well as your quality management systems in this digital age. As Bimser International, we are an enterprise software maker since 1998. We are based in New York. In a sense, we help companies adopt digital transformation and help them adopt the change coming to our lives, in business lives that we have experienced. Also, we help companies simplify their business process. We are very, very close to many different business communities. ASQ is one of them, American Society for Quality. So we work very close with quality managers and quality professionals, I must say, and we are on top of every single change happening in quality management field, compliance field, and management field in this competitive market. For your information, we have an internship program called University of Bimser International. This is an educational internship program designed to help students, especially university students in computer science and business departments, to learn about pre-sales as well as software engineering. As Bimser International, we have global presence. We are a group of companies. We are about 200 people. We are a growing organization. And since we've been talking about quality management systems, we are also certified. We have ISO 9001 certification and ISO 27001 certification. So we have also the policies and procedures in place based on our quality management system to ensure we always deliver the highest quality of our product at every single project. That is our priority, basically, and which is very, very important. Moving on, this is our product range. So since 1998, we have been very focused on our product, EBA, QDMS, and Ensemble. QDMS as the one that we demonstrated earlier, and I'll give you, I'll share more insights with you in a minute. EBA is our enterprise level content management platform. It has a workflow engine, so it helps companies work remotely, first of all, and you can digitize all your business processes with the help of EBA. It has a workflow engine supported by document management, records management, capture and dashboard capability. State-of-the-art technology designed to help you run your business remotely, digitally, paperless. BEAM is an asset maintenance, facility, fleet, and energy management software. Helps companies manage their assets. Assets as in building, machinery, equipment, cars, trucks. All these, you can manage the life cycle of your assets. You can manage the maintenance operations and other operational activities as to periodic maintenance, preventive maintenance, and predictive maintenance. Ensemble is our intelligent business process modeling and performance management software. It is designed to help you put together a performance management program and manage the progress in your company digitally. It also has balanced scorecard capability, so you can see the health of your organization in a digital environment. Since 1998, by the end of last year, we deployed and delivered many different projects, and these numbers are actually representing those numbers. They also show more or less how many customers we have. As for QDMS, our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management software, we have more than 1,000 customers, corporate customers, and more than 1 million professional users. These numbers are increasing every single month, and these are numbers by the end of last year, so they have already been updated. We have a lot of reputable references. We work with 3M, Ford, we work with Renault, Nissan Alliance, we work with Unilever, Starbucks is one of our customers, we work with United Nations as one of our reputable customers, and many other organizations that we are working with. We are very experienced in digital transformation, helping companies adopt digital transformation. We are very experienced in quality management digitally, and we'll talk more about it in a minute. Our products are scalable, so if you're a company that is growing, that needs scale, and if you need really powerful software solutions that will be growing with you, our products are actually ideal for you. That is where we are coming from. Our products are great for mid-market companies as well as enterprise level companies, as you see on the screen right now. Okay, great. So let's talk about personal protective equipment a little bit. As we all know, there are many different quality management systems, compliance management standards, and regulations in the market. Depends on the industry that you are working, where you are actually active in. There are many different standards. If you're in aerospace industry, aviation industry, highly likely you need to comply with AS 9100 because of the health and safety priorities in the industry. If you're in construction industry, there are different standards. If you're in, let's say, medical device industry, highly likely you are complying with ISO 13485. So these are some of the examples. So depends on what you are complying with, especially nowadays, due to COVID-19, you need to have a PPE program. So how do we put this together? There are steps to put a PPE program together. We have first we need to define our policies and procedures, SOPs, in the scope of health and safety, how to manage the PPE. What type of PPE we need to use? And we need to also put together a training program. We need to train our team members as to what type of PPEs we have, how we are supposed to be using them, how often we need to change them, how we are able to maintain them. All these need to be included in the training program. And you need to follow up and audit the basics. What is the definition, the policies, procedures, SOPs, and the follow-up of the training by audit, simply. These audits may be remote, these audits may be on-site, and some companies perform audits within the company by cross-functioning, as in sales department auditing, production department auditing, for example, procurement department, and so on. And you need to also measure the performance of your organization as to health and safety with regards to PPE management. And of course, it all comes to the digital transformation at the end of the day, because you'll be able to use QDMS to manage your PPE program in a digital environment. When you are defining your PPE program, the most important thing that you need to put together is risk assessment. My colleague, Sam, earlier demonstrated to you how you can manage your risk assessment activities digitally in QDMS. There is no need of paper. You don't have to be in the workplace. You can work remotely. You can connect QDMS via any web browser, just like connect any other website. So you can manage your risk assessment, risk management by process, by department, by environment, by occupation. Even you can manage the risk assessment by pandemic or disease. This is risk assessment. It's mitigating risk. So you don't know what will be happening. So the idea is to basically put together a team and think about the risks that you may be facing as a company. So from the PPE point of view, you need to also manage these for different companies. That's very important. Let's talk about also contingency planning. So once you put together your risk assessment plan, you need to also put together a contingency plan. If that risk takes place, if it really happens, what you are going to be doing. That's basically the plan B that you need to put together. And then designing the PPE program. What type of PPE you'll be using, how often you'll be changing it, how we are going to training your team members, who is going to be using what type of PPE, different type of job functions may be requiring different type of PPE, basically. So that is also important to put this together. You need to pick the right PPE, and you need to also set the performance criteria to make sure you are actually achieving your goals that you are setting. So this is a definition, this is defined section of risk of PPE program, and it involves risk assessment basically. And we need to train our team members based on what we define in our PPE program. These trainings may be on site, maybe remotely, especially nowadays due to COVID-19 and the internet, or you can also run these training programs remotely. Sometimes you can use your internal resources. Some of the team members may be knowledgeable and trained, maybe certified about PPE programs, and they can actually train team members internally. Sometimes you may get outside experts to your company, or maybe remotely, just to basically get the insight and learn about how to use the PPE, how to manage it, how to maintain it, and so on. And you need to practice it, and of course, review and follow up. These are critical steps in any quality management system towards continuous improvement, which is very, very important in any company. And finally, we need to run audits internally and externally to make sure everyone is following the PPE instructions properly based on the training. And also we need to measure. So if there is any complaints from the team members, if there is any influence regarding the PPE management, for example. So all these basically need to be documented. They need to be also and we need to update these from time to time, these PPE programs as well as education content that we put together. Let's talk about digital transformation a little bit from the quality management point of view. We have proactive quality management framework that we put together as Bimser International. So we believe any company following this framework can adopt digital transformation easily, especially from the quality management point of view. So when we think about it, and the quality assurance is very important, that's one piece. Quality control is very important, that's another piece. And also finally, the predict is very important as well. So when we say quality assurance, we are referring to your quality management system. Maybe you are complying with ISO 9001. Maybe you are complying with HPF or BRC if you're in food and beverage industry. Any of the quality management system that you are managing, referring to quality assurance. And within the quality management system, based on this proactive framework, you need to also have control points. You may need to have control points in your administrative operations, maybe in sales, maybe procurement. You may want to have control points in your purchasing operations, perhaps, or maybe in your production operations, maybe shipping or distribution, for instance. So any of them that you decide based on your quality assurance system, you need to also manage it accordingly. And if you are managing it with QDMS, you can manage it digitally with no need of paper. And finally, the third piece, predict, refers to smart sensors for you to manage and remotely monitor your assets for your work environment, for example, to make sure everything is working accordingly remotely. And if there is anything out of range, you can take action automatically with the help of QDMS. So you don't have to be there physically, you can remotely monitor it, and you can make sure everything is running based on your quality management system. That is why we put together QDMS. as our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management software to help you manage your quality management systems according to the proactive framework that we put together in the scope of digital transformation. QDMS is a certified solution by Acumatica that's also available in Acumatica application marketplace, as you see on the screen. That's a screenshot. It has a very modern technology. It is ready to talk to many different systems, IoT devices, manufacturing execution systems, CRM systems. It is already integrated with Acumatica ERP system. And we can integrate with many other systems, basically, with the help of our API technology, which is very practical, state of the art. The idea is to have you have an integrated business environment in this competitive marketplace, and especially in the face of COVID-19, you can manage your operations digitally, remotely, whether you are in the office or not. That is very easy with QDMS, thanks to web technology and cloud-friendly environment. On QDMS, you can comply with many different standards. You can comply with simultaneously, comply with ISO 9001, ISO 14000, and many other quality management systems, as you see on the screen. These are not limited to, but some of them as an example. QDMS is a very user-friendly system. Once we basically train a quality management team, they can easily manage it by themselves without any outside consultant or IT support, which is very, very important. It has a modular structure, meaning it depends on what you are complying with, whether it's ISO or ISO 14000 or other standards, for example. You can pick and choose the module that you like, which is an important advantage if you think about it. It is because with the help of QDMS and module structures, you don't have to have everything. You can just have what you need exactly. So that is the advantage that you have. It's very customer focused and very specific solution if you think about it. And all these quality management systems, some commonality. For example, all of them require you to document your activity. So you have proofs, and you can actually make decisions based on data that you put together. That is why we have the control document management module, where you can manage your policies, procedures, SOPs, SSOPs, and other documents or documented information that you can manage and you can retrieve anytime you like. We have corrective action module for you to take corrective actions for continuous improvement. And for safety and safety of your customers, safety of your employees, and safety of your products, for example, we have the risk management module, as you see on the screen. And if you like to, if there is anything, any incident happen at the workplace, if you like to record it, and if you like to analyze it for lessons learned, we also have incident management module. So these are very detailed and very important for quality management systems, because that's what it takes to comply with all these standards. And QDMS is here to help, very flexible, the latest technology is available. It has the web technology, cloud-based, so you can enjoy the benefits of QDMS while you are working remotely in the face of COVID-19. Great. Okay, great. So, so far we talked about QDMS. My colleague somewhat demonstrated QDMS for you. So you see QDMS in action as to how to manage risk, how to manage PPEs, how to manage your quality management system on a high level. And then we talk about how to manage a PPE program, how you can manage your quality management system in a digital environment in the scope of digital transformation. And of course, we also introduce our company as Bimser International as an enterprise software maker. So I think it's time to take some questions. We get some questions in the chat box, and we are also getting some questions from YouTube live. So we appreciate it. So let's address them one by one, which is very important. And we'll have to address these. Let's see. Okay, one of the questions is about mobile app. Do you have any mobile app for QDMS to use when I need? Sam, would you like to address this question?
Hello. Yes, I think
I
just
can
disconnected. Excuse me, I have to
no
call my
problem.
name. Yeah. So, what is the question? Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh yeah, absolutely. This question is about mobile app. Do we have a mobile app?
Oh,
for
yes,
QDMS?
that's a very nice question. Yes, we do have a mobile application. So for QDMS, there is a native mobile application that is available for Android and iOS device. So you can download QDMS from Google Play Store or App Store for iOS device and connect to the server. And then you will see the same data set that on your mobile application, like on your smartphone or tablet, as the one that you can see on your web browser.
Great. Yeah, thank you very much for the information. I think that's very informative as to how to what type of mobile application that we have. Another question that we have is about complying. Can we comply more than one quality management system in QDMS? Okay, yes, I understand the question. Yeah, so my answer is yes. If you are complying with, say, ISO 13485, and if you're also complying with, say, ISO 14000, for example, it's a common combination that we see in the marketplace. You can manage more than one quality management system in one QDMS system, basically. So that is available. My answer is yes. If you have more than two, that is also fine. I mean, we have some customers, they are complying with more than 5 different quality management standards and compliance requirements. So it is not a problem at all. QDMS has the scale, it has the flexibility. Based on the modules that you pick and choose, you can manage many different quality management systems as well as regulations at the same time. So that is very fun. Let me see if we have any other questions. Do you have any tool to manage root cause analysis? So yes, my answer is yes. We have root cause analysis capabilities in QDMS. It has two faults. The first fault is basically in the scope of corrective action, and second fault is basically about non-conformity management. So they both may be requiring some sort of a root cause analysis. Typically, what we see is corrective actions require root cause analysis. So this is the moment that you are taking corrective actions towards continuous improvement. In that sense, we have various tools for you to use digitally while you are working on root cause analysis. The typical one is 5Y. That's very typical. That's very common to analyze the problem and find root causes. Another one is called Ishikawa, right? It's also called fishbone analysis. We also have it available. We demonstrated in some of one of our, I think, earlier webinar sessions, if I'm not mistaken. That's available on our YouTube. But if you'd like to see more, please just send us an email and we can schedule time and we can show you live as to how you can manage your root cause analysis digitally. And you can actually record it as well. And you can link it to your corrective action. So you can always pull it, review it. In addition, if you have any audit coming to your company or inspector, you can always pull it and show the records digitally, which is very practical and helpful for everybody. And another one is very common, very popular among quality management community is 8D analysis. That is also available that we can show you another meeting. We can send you more information if you need. Just please send me an email. I'll be happy to share the information with you so that you can see how we can help you manage your root cause analysis while you are taking corrective action. Let's remember, based on the ISO's quality management principles, the principles of ISO, which is very, very important principle. If you remember, one of them which is very important is to make decisions based on evidence. So you just don't just make decisions at random. You make decisions systematically based on data, based on evidence. So evidence means data, and QDMS has that infrastructure for you to retrieve data when you need it, the information, the evidence, and you can basically make decisions and take corrective actions accordingly, which is very important for your company and for any company. Okay, let's see if we have any other questions. Is there any limit, minimum or maximum limit as to choose module? What is the minimum to choose QDMS module from your list? Okay, great. So I showed some of the modules that we have available. Some of them my colleague Sam showed you during the demonstration. We have 30 plus modules available in QDMS, and sometimes we also put together special modules for our customers. There is no minimum or there is no maximum. It's all up to you. Our priority is to help you comply in a digital environment, especially nowadays. That's part of our mission as well. We like to have companies set up digital transformation. And since we are right now facing COVID-19, it's more important than before. We like to have companies. So if having 2 modules of QDMS will address your challenges to help you comply with quality management systems, say ISO or AS9100 or IATF and so on, for example, you can have 2 modules. If that's just 1 module, be our guest, not a problem. Some of our customers start with 1 module or 2 modules or 3 modules. Some of them they add later on. So you always have the option of adding more modules if you like. So that's perfectly fine. Some of our customers, let's say you are complying with ISO 9001 right now. And later on, let's say 5 years later, you started to comply with BRC IOP or BRC per se, for example. And you need some additional modules as to hygiene management, some SOP management, and so on. So you can always add additional modules on QDMS. That's perfectly fine. So you have different options, and we make it available for you. And regarding the number of modules, there is no minimum or maximum limit or requirement. I think there is also a question about pricing. How is the pricing running? That is also depends on the module that you are taking. So we are basically offering subscription based on the module that you are choosing, and that is basically how you'll be having the cost and taking care of it. So the more module that you have, the higher the amount is. That is why we are actually looking for having the module that you need instead of many modules that you won't need. That's the point of having modular system. So that is what we are offering. I think we are almost done in terms of timing. I think we can get one more question. Also checking the check box if I am missing any questions in the system. Okay, so one of the questions about the control document management part. What is the limit? How many documents can QDMS hold when I start using it? Okay, so I understand the question. So in QDMS, basically, we have no limit. The limit is your infrastructure, right? Your cloud environment or your server, for example, wherever we are deploying QDMS. We can host it, you can run it on cloud. If you have your private cloud, we can deploy it there. If you have your on-site, on-premise server, we can deploy it there. So the limit is the infrastructure that you have. Okay. So QDMS has no limit. The limit is infinity, and as long as your server is available, your cloud is available, either public cloud or private cloud, which we can use different options, then you can deploy there and you can have as many documents as you like. Also, just to be clear, when we say documents, the document may be a PDF file, the document may be a video, document may be an audio file. So that may be a very different type of document. So that is perfectly fine. It's not only about the PDF or Word files. We are also different other types of files as well. It's very, very useful for QDMS. Okay, great. I think we addressed all the questions. They were also great questions. Much appreciated. Thanks for sharing from YouTube. Yeah, chat box. Much appreciated. Thank you. Before we end our webinar session, I'd like to invite you to our YouTube channel. Some of you are already watching us from YouTube live, I know, so you are already on YouTube channel of ours. So we invite you to, I believe, to our playlist. We have recorded webinars available on our YouTube channel, so you can watch, you can share with your team members. So that is a resource that we make available with our educational and informative webinars. You are more than welcome to visit our YouTube channel and subscribe, which is very important. More than welcome to share. And finally, we also have an Eventbrite page, as some of you already registered. On our Eventbrite page, Bimser International, you'll have a chance to see our executive webinar lineup. You can see our lineup. If the time and date works for you, any subject matter that's of your interest, please register and so that you can be with us in our coming webinar session. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest today. Much appreciated. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our coming webinar session. Thank you very much and have a nice day.